Hello everyone. I'm doing things a little differently with my live today. I am taking you with me in my car, so sorry for the poor quality. I'll try and get you propped up here. Hands-free, so I'm driving safely. But anyway, I am supposed to start chemo. Today's Tuesday. I'm supposed to start tomorrow on Thursday. And I have had the mildest cold symptoms the last week or so. It was just like the symptoms that I had before they canceled my surgery, where it's so mild it's hardly noticeable. I have had just like extreme fatigue. That's mostly what it's been. But I've had a little bit of a headache, a little bit of sinus pressure, which I get migraines when the weather changes. That's just kind of part of my chronic EDS condition. But I've also had a little bit of a scratchy sore throat, very mildly so, but that's it. I haven't had a fever at all. But I called my oncology nurse, and she said, you have to go get tested before you can start chemo, which makes sense. Like, they have to cover all their bases. I really don't want to get COVID-19 while I am getting chemo, for obvious reasons when you have a compromised immune system. So yeah, they made me schedule one of these drive-up tests, and I thought that might be an interesting thing just to document, just for posterity in future ages, when our kids are wondering, what was it like living in quarantine and you had to get tested for COVID-19 way back in 2020. So yeah, that's why I'm going live now. I really don't have time to edit a video. I have so much. I have to do all of my reading and research, and like all of the drugs that I have to take, like in the days before doing chemo, during, after. I had my chemo education this last, what was that? Last Friday? Thursday, Friday, I can't remember what day it was now. And they taught me everything that I need to know about doing chemo, especially right now, during a pandemic. And so it's a lot. It is a lot of information, and I am just trying to absorb it all before I start. So yeah, I mean, I was in there for a couple hours, and I mean, the nurses there are wonderful. They gave me, this huge binder full of information. They're like, here's all the phone numbers you need to call if you have a problem, and that kind of thing. And just, there are so many drugs, which I want to be taking. They told me about the drug that they will be infusing me with for chemo, and they told me about the anti-nausea drugs that they'll be giving me. And there are like 3 different anti-nausea drugs they give you, which is fantastic. They give you, one like the day before, the day of, the day after. That's like the really heavy duty anti-nausea, and I can take it like as needed after that. And then they just have one that I take consistently after that to keep nausea at bay. So yeah, I'm trying to think of I can't even remember all the stuff that she was talking to me about. Like, I can't remember I've been keeping all my friends updated on Facebook. I can't remember if I talked about this on my YouTube, but I got a port put in. I guess I haven't talked about that on YouTube. You can see it there. And so, yeah, they put a port in. I asked if it was possible for me to do it with just my veins in my arms, and they said you can. I mean, I do have really good veins, but it can also just destroy the veins in your arms, so they prefer to put a port in. So I did that. I had my port put in a week ago today, or I guess it was over a week ago. It was last Monday. So I had to go into the hospital again. It was another procedure that I had to do. wearing the whole N95 mask again. And we tried to get Bill, see if they would let Bill in the door this time to come with me during my procedure, and they wouldn't let him in again. Even though he had an N95 mask too, and so that means that, like, you know, he was protected, everyone was protected from him. But yeah, that was a no-go. So I had to do it alone again. So I went in, and I had to fast the night before, you know, since midnight the night before, because they do like the twilight, what do they call that? It's like what they do when you do a colonoscopy or an endoscopy, where they do like the twilight sleep kind of thing, where you're like partially aware. Let me see if I can make this lighter. Sorry, guys. Anyway, and I said, is it possible for me to just do this without being put under? Like, can I just do this with local anesthetic? Because I would really love to get in and out of the hospital a lot faster. And so they're like, yeah, you can do that. And so I was like, great, that's fantastic. So I did. And it really, I was like, you know, I feel like I can handle this. If I can give birth naturally twice, like, I feel like I can handle a minor procedure with local anesthetic. So I did. I went in, and they rolled me into the same OR that I was in 7 weeks prior when I got my mastectomy. So it was kind of familiar and weird. But I was conscious the whole time. So that was kind of an interesting experience, being in the OR during a procedure. And I had just taken like my normal anxiety medication for the day, and I was nervous, and I did feel panicky in the moment when they had to like put the drape over my head. It wasn't like smothering me, but it was just, they kind of had me in this like little cave almost, because they didn't want me to see what they were doing. And but I could see there was like this TV on the wall that had all of like my vitals and stats and everything like that. And it was kind of interesting, and I could hear them. They were all chit-chatting and talking about the poor nurses who are being put on furlough right now, and all of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. They were very kind to me, though, very nice. They were talking to me. All I felt was just a little bit of a poke when they had to do the local anesthetic. And and that was it. And once they got going, it wasn't that bad. I almost even took a nap, so it wasn't that bad. So that was my experience getting my port put in, and then they wheeled me back in, and I got dressed. They discharged me, and I was out of there. So I was really glad that I did it with only local anesthetic. That was really nice. And yeah, so I've been recovering from getting my port, and, you know, like I said, you can see here how bruised it is. It's just this little, you can feel it's like a little button right there. That's where they'll be putting in all my chemo, and it's definitely sore, and I've just been treating it with Tylenol, Advil, ice, and yeah, so that's where they're putting my port. I'm wondering if that's when I picked up my cold symptoms, was when I was in the hospital. I was wearing my mask, but I did take it off when they brought me a snack and something to drink when I was done. So I was breathing the air for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So who knows, maybe I picked up whatever this is at the hospital. The other possibility is that I had to go get new glasses for Alex. He had an updated prescription, and I had to get it at Target. And sadly, a lot of the people in our community are refusing to wear masks in public right now, which I personally don't understand. It's such an easy thing to do, and it protects other people from you. Like, people say like, oh, the mask doesn't do anything, it doesn't protect you. It's not to protect you, it's to protect other people from you in case you are an asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic carrier and you don't want to spread it to the vulnerable people. I was pretty disappointed when I went to Target and there were only like a quarter of the people wearing masks there, including the optical guy who was like, you know, within a foot of me and Alex without wearing a mask. Me and Alex were both wearing masks. And there was another customer who was sitting in the chair right behind us who was also maybe like 2-3 feet away from us. So we were sandwiched between two unmasked people. And it made me uncomfortable and really disappointed in my community that people could not manage to wear a mask in public, because it's really not hard to do. People like me, who you don't know who you're protecting if you are an asymptomatic carrier. So anyway, so that's the other possibility of where I could have potentially picked up a cold or potentially COVID, which I'm hoping that's not what it is. It seems pretty mild, these symptoms that I have. So yeah, but it makes sense now. That's where I'm going. If you're just tuning in, I am going to get a COVID test because I've had these extra mild COVID, or they're not even COVID symptoms. They're just extra mild cold symptoms, and I'm just bringing you guys along with me just so you can see what that is like when they stick the thing up my nose. So that is what I am doing, and I am almost there now, and I'm just chit-chatting with you guys to tell you what I have been up to until I have chemo that I'm getting ready because I'm about to pull in. And let's see, where am I going over there? Okay, so yeah, so I guess it's a rapid test, and I should be finding out within 24 hours, hopefully, if it's positive or not. I honestly would be pretty surprised if it was positive, considering how insignificant my symptoms are. Which state am I from? I'm in Washington State. I'm in Western Washington. So anyway, sorry, it's hard to, I gotta wait to pull up to put this thing on. Okay, COVID-19 drive-through testing. Here we are. So I just wanted to bring you guys along so you could see what this is like, because it's one of these drive-up things, and I guess we'll see how this goes. They're gonna stick the thing up my nose and it's gonna be uncomfortable, so this should be fun. COVID-19 drive-through testing. Have all their white tents out and everything. This is interesting, driving up to a white tent. Alright, so I'll talk to you guys afterwards here. Oh, hi. Hi there.
Are you here for testing?
I am,
What's
yes.
your last name?
Can I...
Okay.
Sorry, I'm talking to somebody I don't want to...
Okay.
Just a second here.
You're all right. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't want to tell you guys my last name.
Is this your information here?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to hand this over to you.
Okay.
You're going to go up to the tent, pull to the right side,
Okay.
and they're going to show you how to use that, okay?
Okay. So I do it to myself?
Yep, you'll be doing it yourself, but the nurse is going to teach you how to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, here we go. I guess I do this to myself. Hi.
Are you here for COVID testing?
I am, yes.
I am Jacob. I'm one of the nurses. Go ahead and shut your car off.
Okay.
And so we'll do this. It'll be, let me come around so I can.
Okay.
So this will be a self-swab. So you do all of the work,
Okay.
and I'll coach you through it, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead and open the bag, pull out the Q-tip and that little vial that's in there.
Okay.
And check that vial, make sure that that's got your name on that side and your birthday on the other.
Yep,
So
it looks
you
correct.
can set that aside for now.
Okay.
Peel open the Q-tip. Try not to touch the white tape or the white Q-tip end if you can. Just touch the red. Good. So this is a nasal swab. So you'll go into your nose with this. You'll go well back until you meet resistance, and then you'll vigorously swab that around, trying to clean off the inside of your nose. You do that for 4 seconds on each side.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and pull your mask down just off of your nose. And then in you go. Yep. Way back in there. Oh, gosh. Way back in there and vigorously swab. And 4. Good. Good job. Same thing on the left side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nicely done.
Woo, it's making my eyes water.
Do you need a tissue?
Actually, I have one
You have
here.
one?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Sure.
Woo. Okay.
All right, so careful not to spill the fluid. Twist the top off of the vial there.
Okay.
And put that Q-tip inside. And then bend the top of the stick over, straight over till it snaps off. Okay.
Okay.
And put that lid back on there. Nice and
Okay.
tight, and put that into your bag. And then don't zip it. I'll zip the bag up out here. Let me take that from you.
Okay.
This is for you.
Okay.
And so these results will be available in MyChart in 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
If you're positive, one of the nurses will call you with results and quarantine
Okay.
instructions.
Okay.
And then whatever doctor ordered this will be able to view these results as soon as the lab posts them.
Okay. Okay. So you guys will call me, even if it's negative?
If it's, do you have MyChart?
I do. So
Yeah.
it'll just show up in
It'll
my
just show
chart.
up on MyChart.
Okay.
Tell me your last name.
Sorry, I'm talking to somebody. And ESTAND.
And your birthday.
5/18/84.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right, any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, have a nice
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, I guess you guys got to see that little unpleasant situation there. I'm just going to pull in and park and finish chatting with you guys so I can chat with you guys safely. Take this off now that I am out of there. Woo! That made my eyes really water. Sticking that thing way up in my sinuses. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I am parked for a second and I can actively talk to you guys for a second. So yeah, I just got my COVID test and they said that I should be getting the results within 24 to 48 hours. And, I honestly will be pretty darn surprised if it's positive, considering my symptoms are so mild. But then again, like they said, I'm only 36 and, I could potentially be, one of these really mild cases or asymptomatic or near. That's why they're testing me, which makes sense. They have to cover all their bases. They don't want to start chemo if I have COVID, even if I am nearly asymptomatic, because if they start chemo and my immune system goes down and then I still have COVID in my system, then it could become a much more serious kind of situation. So yeah, I guess we'll find out. That would be pretty crazy if I did end up having like a super mild case of it. Hopefully I don't. But I'm glad they are just covering all their bases and making sure that for the protection of even for the protection of the people who are in the cancer center also, because the cancer center is obviously with cancer patients, and even if I'm asymptomatic, I clearly don't want to be spreading it to my fellow cancer patients. So anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I guess if it is positive, they said that I will have to quarantine, and which we've already been doing all along. The only reason I left, like I said, was to go get my port put in. I'll show that to you again. It's all bruised. It doesn't look super happy right now, but it's fine. It's just kind of sore, feels bruised. And I had to go into Target to get Alex's glasses. So those are the only reasons that I have been out in the last 2 weeks, that I could have been even exposed to any sort of virus of any kind, even if it's just a common cold. So, yeah, that would be the only way I could have gotten something. I mean, unless Bill brought something back from work, but his work is so safe. Like, I don't see on the internet what he does for work, but he is basically by himself outdoors for the vast, or working at home for the vast majority of his job. So it's pretty unlikely that he would be bringing something home. He does have to run errands occasionally, but he wears a mask when he goes to do that, and it's very occasional when he has to do that. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what's going on here. Do you guys have any other questions while I am still live? I'm pulling up the chat here. So somebody was asking. Let's see. Why is that? Okay, yeah, people are very lax. Wait, how do I? Okay, top chat. Yeah, people are very lax in Florida too. It's really disheartening to see. But please continue to protect yourself as much as possible. I am definitely doing my best to protect myself. We've basically been isolating at home. We did go out for my birthday to the beach, but unlike a lot of the beaches that you see on the news that are packed full of people, there were not that many people there. The place where we went, and it was really nice to get out. God bless. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so we have been doing that kind of outing where we go where there aren't that many people and we're able to safely social distance from people. Um, and but that's really the only thing that we've done. I mean, we go for walks around our neighborhood. Same thing. We keep our distance from other people. And they say that generally being outside is pretty safe without a mask, if you're keeping your distance and you're obviously not in a large crowd of people, because it's like 0.3%, at least with their current understanding, it's like 0.3% transmission outdoors. Most of the transmission is indoors, because the respiratory droplets can, let's see, what and where is your cancer? Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you who have not been following my journey, I guess I should have said that from the beginning. I was diagnosed with they thought it was stage 2. It was actually stage 1 breast cancer in the end of February. So it was like right around the time that COVID was ramping up. And so it's been a real journey. I also had in situ cancer, which is where it was spread pretty extensively, like within 30% of my breast within the ducts, but had not broken through the wall. So only the tumor, the stage 1 tumor, had broken through the wall, but the rest was within the ducts. So that's considered stage 0 and stage 1. And I had a mastectomy on my left side on April 1st. And so I've been recovering from that. And so this is just a quick update for those of you who haven't been following along my journey. I had to have what they call an oncotype DX test, which tests for your risk for recurrence of cancer, and mine was a score of 38, which means that it is a 26, I don't know how all these numbers work. It's a 26% chance of recurrence, that I might have recurrence, that some sort of, even though my lymph nodes were clear, there's a 26% chance that, some rogue cells made it through my lymph nodes and escaped to other parts of my body, and that's why I have to do chemo, just in case it is prophylactic or preventative. Because as far as they know, there's no evidence of cancer at this point in my body after having the mastectomy, but this is to make sure it stays that way, basically. So that is why I'm getting chemo and the kind of cancer I had. So, yeah, so I was just talking about how the respiratory droplets, I've been doing all the reading on the science of this. The respiratory droplets for COVID, COVID has to travel on respiratory droplets. So while, people are saying, oh, well, it can just go right through a a cloth mask or whatever, but that's not the point. It has to travel on respiratory droplets and aerosols to get into the air and travel to other people. And so, if you are preventing your respiratory droplets from entering the air, then it is protecting other people. So when people are not wearing masks indoors, that's when it becomes dangerous because the respiratory droplets can remain in the air. The droplets up to 10 minutes suspended in the air, and aerosols, like if you sneeze, like the droplets after 10 minutes fall to the floor. Aerosols can remain in the air up to 3 hours. So that is the whole point of wearing a mask and protecting other people from you so that your respiratory droplets are not entering the air in indoor public places. So, anyway, so we've been doing a lot of outdoor stuff without masks though, because they say it's just like 0.3% transmission. And probably the 0.3% of people who are getting it outdoors are the people who are in really crowded places, like the really crowded beaches, and lots of people are close together and that kind of thing. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my little rant for today. If you're watching, please wear a mask when you're going out in indoor public places, especially. It's just showing kindness to other people. You never know who you're protecting. So, especially people like me. Who might be doing chemo soon. And yes, I am doing what I have to do to protect me, but it's also just showing general kindness and compassion to the people around you um, who might be vulnerable for whatever reason. And I think that there's a lot more people who are vulnerable than people realize. People with asthma, pregnant moms, anybody that has, a depressed immune system for any sort of reason, or any sort of heart condition, lung condition of any kind. Just do your best to protect the people around you. So, anyway, that's my little spiel on that. Do you guys have any more questions or comments or anything like that? Yes, it is all our responsibility to protect each other, and this is just showing human decency for sure. So thank you all for doing your part with that, and I will give you the results once I hear what they are. I guess I'll be getting it on my little My Chart thing that they do online. I honestly will be pretty surprised if it's positive, but I guess we'll find out for sure. And I will keep you posted with that. And if I do have a positive, that means that chemo is pushed out for 1 or 2 more weeks because I have to do my isolation thing. So, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining and listening to me rambling and ranting for the last half hour. And yeah, you got to watch me do my interesting little nasal swab that was highly uncomfortable and made my eyes water. And oh, sorry about the thing on my hand. This is my to-do list, just for those of you who ever see that in my videos. I have mild ADHD, and I have to have my to-do list on my hand or I will forget. I am that absent-minded. That's how I keep myself accountable. So, anyway, I hope you guys are doing well and are enjoying this late spring, early summer. Hopefully you're getting nice weather like we're getting here in Washington. And I will talk with you guys later. Take care. Bye.